in New Zealand. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast, number 2293, Work, Rain, and Realignment. Yes, we are hitting the big three today. So it feels like. But first I have to start off with the rain. Well, first it was my first day back at work today. After a 3-week absence, it felt kind of strange going back to work. Yeah, it was. It felt strange. I won't lie. It was quiet on the chat. It was quiet on the chat when I first got there, and then I got my first chat, and then there was nothing for like about an hour, and then it was bomb, 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 bing, 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 and my mum says, "What's all those bings?" And I turned around and said, "That's the new chats or replies to chats coming in." And she goes, and then it starts dinging again. She goes, "You're getting awfully busy." I went, "Yep." So it was pretty cool, but oh, and I have to give thanks to my dad too. He found this clock that they have, and this clock calculator. And what I've done is that we've got it set up on Mountain Time in the US, which is the time zone that Mailbox Power works under. So I have that sitting on my desk so I can make sure I'm keeping track of, am I converting the times correctly? But I also have my cell phone with the world clock, but that just sits there on the desk. It actually buzzes on every hour when I'm sitting here. So probably does it when I'm not here too, but I don't get to see that part. Excuse me. So last night, got to tell you about, last night was awesome. So we're sitting there watching some program, I don't know what, and we could hear, and I suddenly realized that it was raining. And so I jumped up, I went out into the dining room, opened up the sliding door, went out back, and went out onto the concrete patio where there was water laying near the edge by the grass there. And I started dancing in the rain and splashing in the little, it wasn't much of a splash because it was about this deep. But just be able to splash in puddles again, I haven't done that in a long time, because in Arizona, unless you were out in the campground, we didn't really have any puddles to splash in. And at our home in Surprise, when we moved into the house, we had puddles, but it was a completely gravel backyard. So the only place you could safely dance in bare feet was on the concrete patio, and that didn't really get a lot of rain. So last night being out in the rain, fully out in the rain, with puddles to splash in and dancing in the rain, it was pouring down. It was awesome. I felt so refreshed, I felt refreshed, grounded. Grounded was the big one, though. Grounded was definitely the big one. Yeah, that one was the biggest one out of the lot, was the feeling the grounded, but also felt relaxed and refreshed, and went back inside and hair dripping, and yeah, a bit of water here, there, and everywhere. So when I found my fluffy socks, which have the little rubber thingies on the bottom of the socks so that you don't go slipping on things, designed to be worn as slippers, and got my robe and just wrapped myself up in it and went back onto my couch in the living room to continue whatever it was we were watching. Actually, it was this really cool program about people finding dogs, rescuing dogs. They wanted, they wanted a new dog in their family. They'd come in here. The people would interview them. They would then go through the dogs that they had, who would be the perfect fit. They would take them to this introduction area, the welcome pen, the meeting pen, I think they called it. And you walk in through this door, and there's kind of like a living room set up there, but the fourth wall is completely open to a dog park area where you can interact with the dog and all that sort of stuff. Then you get to take them for a walk, and then you get to decide whether or not you want to adopt the dog or not. And so they kind of left you hanging, because they had like 3 or 4 stories going on different people wanting dogs, and they left you right until the end when they went back and said, this is what happened with this couple, this is what happened with this family, this is what happened with these people, and updated you onto whether or not they took the dog, and if they took the dog, how it's fitted into their family, how they fitted it into their family and their daily activities and that sort of thing. So it was a pretty good show. This morning, got up, didn't have to start work till 9 a.m. New Zealand time, which was awesome, because that was 1 o'clock in the afternoon Mountain Time. Got to remember which one it is. So I got chat worked, and then as soon as I'd finished on the chat at 1 o'clock in the afternoon New Zealand time, on Tuesday, I'm on Tuesday, so I'm already on Veterans Day for the US, but here in New Zealand it's Remembrance Day, or what's that one? Armistice Day. So there's different, in the Commonwealth, there's different names for this day, Armistice Day or Remembrance Day. But they really didn't. They do more on Anzac Day than they do on the Remembrance Day. So back in the States, it's Veterans Day, and tomorrow everything will be closed, so I get a day off tomorrow. But today we got the important things taken care of, like going to the bank. I've had a bank account in New Zealand since before I left, and they're changing it from the type of account it was to a different account, which was going to be a savings account and not a checking account. So I got all that switched over, got an FPOS card. We'll now go online tomorrow and order a debit card. And yes, there's a difference between an FPOS card and a debit card. The FPOS card you can use for day-to-day transactions. The debit card can only be used online for transactions as well, day-to-day, and it has the microchip on it. The FPOS card does not have the microchip, and you can't use it for online purchases and things. If you want online purchases, you have to have the debit card to use it. So getting the debit, got that ordered, got all that sorted out, and changed over to a New Zealand address. I got to go in tomorrow after I get the cell phone and give them so they can register my New Zealand cell phone number on the account so that I get notifications of any suspect transactions to verify and that sort of stuff. Then we went and got some hangers. I needed some hangers. So, yeah, how many do you need? It's about 50. I hang up. The only thing I don't hang up is my undergarments. Everything else, t-shirts, pants, tank tops, blouses, all that all gets hung up. So the shelves are kind of overflowing right now until I can get everything onto hangers. And then tomorrow, what else did we do? We did that. And then tomorrow we're going to go and get my hooked up with a cell phone. This is amazing. They've got an amazing deal. One of the retailers that Mum and Dad were thinking of switching to, and it's an amazing deal where it's going to. They usually charge you per 4-week block, not per month, but for every 4 weeks. So you get 13 months that you pay. But and the program I'm looking at was like $40 for 4 weeks. But I took that same program. I had a look at their annual plan, and they had discounted it so that it was a discounted price. But then they currently have a 40% sale on until the 7th of December. And so I'm going to take advantage of that, pay in advance for 12 months. And it's going to cost me $263 to pay in advance for 12 months of cell phone service. And it's a prepaid program. And then towards the end of the 12 months, I'll look to see what deals they have for the following year and go do that. Plus I have to buy a new phone as well. Because I still have my US phone, which is now a Magic Jack. And I only get service on it when I have an internet connection, but I'm able to hotspot I'll be able to hotspot my new phone if I'm out and about and I need to deal with anything that's coming through from the States and I'm not on an internet connection anywhere. So there'll be that going on. So that's tomorrow. I also might go down and get me some, my sneakers I left behind in the US because there was no tread on the bottom of those shoes, none. So, but they were 7 years old. I'm trying to think when I got them. Got them in either 2018 or 2019. I don't remember which. So there was no traction left on those. So I need to go get new shoes. So they've got a place in Porirua that they go to where they're known. So using the parents' connections to get the great prices. And they have the frequent buyer card there as well. So it means that whatever I purchase will go towards their next pair of shoes or whatever. I'm happy with that. So yeah, we'll get all that sort of taken care of tomorrow. And I know we've got a couple of other things on the list for tomorrow, but yeah, so it's going to be a day out and about tomorrow since I have the day off for Veterans Day in the States. And then I'll be back to work again on Thursday, my time. So I have reflection questions for you, I think. I do. So of course I've got to have reflection questions because, when you've been out there, you've had your first day back at work after 3 weeks, and I'm like getting back into it, and I'm like, the first question that comes in, it's sort of like, I don't know the answer to this one. And I'm like, oh, hang on, that's to do with that. That was kind of new. Now I've got to rethink that. And so I had to go ask people questions today. But I soon got back into the swing of things and got things taken care of and was able to answer questions without having to go too much into asking other people for advice. How do I do this again? Can you remind me how to do this? So it didn't take long for the the responses to kick in as they should. Now, our reflection questions for you is, how do you stay grounded during times of transition, even when things feel surreal? So right now, this is very surreal. I feel like I'm on vacation, not that I have moved here, even though we've just been into the bank and changed my address and everything over and my accounts over and all of that sort of stuff. So it still feels like vacation. But I'm a working vacation because I can work from anywhere as long as I have internet connection. Number 2, what small actions help you reconnect with everyday rhythms after a big life change? Yeah, we're still getting back into our everyday rhythms. Jet lag's not an issue. That hasn't been an issue, although I am going to go take a snoozle after this. But then it's coming up to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, which is usually when I was back in Surprise is when I go take my snoozle. As soon as I finish work, I'll go take like a 30-minute snoozle. So I'm going to get back into that rhythm as well, because I can feel my body tiring and saying, oh, it's coming up on 4 o'clock. We need to go take our snoozle. When was the last time I allowed myself to play just for the joy of it? Think about things like going outside and dancing in the rain. Something as simple as, it's raining, let's go outside and dance in it. As long as there's not thunder and lightning around, I will be outside dancing in the rain. Even if it is a cold winter's day, I will go out and dance in the rain. Not for as long as normal, as in on a summer's day, but I got to get it in there. It's just a way of grounding me. It's a way of refreshing, renewing, that sort of stuff. So we like to do that. And number 4, what would it look like to blend structure and spontaneity more often? Oh, that's what I got. I just remembered. We also got my 2026 pen. Look at this gorgeous color. Isn't this a gorgeous color? It's bright pink. Most of the ones that they had were black or dark blue, and I saw this bright pink and I picked it up and I opened it up and it was exactly the layout that I wanted. And so I was like, I'm getting this one. It didn't take long, but it's this gorgeous bright pink color. Oh, I should have turned the light on. So yes, my 2026 planner, and I'm going to spend the next few days, I guess, getting it set up for 2026. Because I've got stuff that I need to put in there, like when daylight savings begins in the US is going to be the next change, because that changes my hours. Here in New Zealand, I go from starting at 9 o'clock to starting at 8 o'clock, and then New Zealand goes out of daylight saving, which means I drop another hour, so I start at 7 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and then fast forward to November when when the US, hang on, which happens first? At some point, New Zealand goes into daylight saving and US comes out, so there's changes in that as well with the times. So I've got it written in my little notebook at what points that happens, that the times change. So, but anyway, question 4 was, what would it look like to blend structure and spontaneity more often? It would be so much fun. It will be fun. We had our to-do list when we went out today and we got that done. And I'm still doing the thing, like I go and start one project and then I get sidetracked and go and start something else and do something else. And like right now I'm looking for my pencil case. It's got a green base with a black top. And I know I have seen it. I thought I had seen it here when I was unpacking. Do you think I can find the thing? No. But after my snooze, I'm going to start hanging up all the clothes that I've got folded on the shelves in the closet and see if it's maybe tucked away in there somewhere. Because right now the shelves are overflowing with my stuff. So once I get everything hung up, there'll be a lot more space there. So we'll see if it's tucked away in there, or I'm just imagining things and thought I saw it at the same place at the same time. And it may still be sitting in a suitcase in New Zealand. Who knows? But anyway, I am out. I am out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Hei konera. Oh, for New Zealanders, it's 3 p.m. on whatever day we're on. So 6 p.m. Pacific or 3 p.m. New Zealand time. Hei konera.